everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8. Now, how Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. We cover top news and information related to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. We also follow two news and information related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. Now this is followed by an Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. So let's kick this thing off.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB, and today is the 13th of October. Are we still in a bull market? The price of Bitcoin clearly seems to be reflecting that we are in a bull market. The altcoins not so much. The last quarter is so important for the price of Bitcoin. Some of them say that this probably might be the last bull market for Bitcoin, and there are speculations that what the price of Bitcoin is towards the end of the year or by the first or second week of Jan. Most likely that would be the price of Bitcoin. That might be the dominant or approximate fixed price of Bitcoin, but again, in cryptocurrency world, none of the predictions ever come true. Today we're going to be discussing some news about DeFi, and it has broken another milestone. Earlier in September, I had talked about where the total value locked in DeFi had reached an all-time high. I believe at that point of time it was $170 billion. Well, last week it crossed another milestone. The total value locked in DeFi has crossed the $200 billion mark, and a lot of these DeFi protocols do work on Ethereum. Now we have some really interesting news about Charles Hoskinson and also about Vitalik Buterin. There are a couple of interviews that talk about, NFTs, the DeFi. Charles Hoskinson talks about if DeFi is in the boom, and Vitalik Buterin is a new concept called as technology philosophers. So we're going to be discussing that. We will also talk about RippleNet, which has invested over $44 million to reduce 1.5 million tons of carbon emission in the US, and some really interesting news about Celsius Network and Binance as well. Now, Celsius Network CEO, that is Alex Mashinsky, and Binance CEO CZ, both are in Dubai for blockchain events. And some news that I'd like to talk about is some celebrities getting into NFTs. Reese Witherspoon and Snoop Dogg have some really interesting chat via Twitter. Regarding UAE, I have two news as well. And one of the news is going back to something which I covered in May when Vitalik Buterin transferred over $1 billion to India as part of the COVID relief fund. The sad news is that the COVID fund lost $1.2 billion by selling the meme coin, that is Shiba Inu, too early. And I'll try to explain how that is linked to UAE. The second news about UAE is about LBank Exchange, which co-hosted the second Blockchain Dubai Summit in Dubai Expo 2020. So welcome everyone, it's 8 a.m. You're in Dubai. You're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover 5 news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. How the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover 3 news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some breaking news, mega news, occasionally short and sweet news as well. The other 2 news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. This is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Gulf Standard Time about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. So let's kick this thing off. Welcome everyone, today is the 13th of October, and the price that I'm picking up is via CoinMarketCap. but I tend to pick up the information at 4 a.m. in the morning Gulf Standard Time, so the data may not be updated real time. As of 13th of October 2021 at 4 a.m. Gulf Standard Time, the global crypto market cap is at $2.30 trillion. Since the last 24 hours, it has marginally gone down by 0.82%. The total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is at $108.49 billion. Now, since the last 24 hours, it is up by 0.29%. The total volume of DeFi has gradually been increasing and is currently at $13.41 billion. And I'm going to talk a little bit about DeFi, particularly in terms of the total value locked in DeFi across all the different protocols. Now, DeFi accounts for 12.36% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. The volume of stable coins now is at $84.76 billion. Stablecoin accounts for 78.13% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. The price of Bitcoin, the king of all kings, has crossed the $56,000 mark. Again, the price is at 13th of October at 4 a.m. Gulf Standard Time. The price of Bitcoin is at $56,031. Now, what's really interesting this particular time, and this is something which I've been noticing for the past few weeks, is that only the price of Bitcoin is going up, the altcoins not as much. Because of that, the Bitcoin dominance has also gradually increasing, and as of today it is at 46.03%, an increase of 0.88% over the last 24 hours. If you look at the price of Bitcoin over a period of 7 days, it is up by 9.23%. Ethereum is just about at $3,492. Since the last 24 hours, the price of ETH is down by 1.41%, and over a period of 7 days, it is down by 0.49%. Binance Coin is the number 3rd most valuable cryptocurrency coin right now. It is priced at $443. Since the last 24 hours, it is up by 7.71%. Now, there is a news regarding Binance, and that most probably could be the reason why the price has gone up by 7.71%. The price of Binance Coin since the last 7 days is only up by 0.51% since the last 7 days. Again, there is some really important information about Binance Coin. Most likely that is the only reason why the price of Binance Coin has gone up. Now, 13th of October, Shocktober seems to be having a great start, particularly with reference to Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin has crossed the $56,000 mark. If you look at the price of Bitcoin, it is the only cryptocurrency where the price seems to be increasing. Unlike previous bullish cycles, what happens is when the price of Bitcoin increasing, all the altcoins tends to follow a similar pattern. This time, however, Bitcoin seems to be the outlier. The price of Bitcoin seems to be going ridiculously high, not so much for the other altcoins. The total volume locked in DeFi has crossed the $200 billion mark. Now, what you can do is you can go to a website called as DeFi Llama with double L. Now, if you go to DeFiLlama.com, it shows you the total value locked across all DeFi protocols, and it's no surprise that Curve Finance is leading the total value stats, followed by Aave and MakerDAO. Now, MakerDAO is treated as the boomer DeFi among youngsters because there are different protocols that are at the moment right now. So go through DeFiLlama.com and it gives you a detailed explanation as to which particular DeFi project has the most amount of total value locked. Curve Finance has roughly around $15.76 billion which has been locked. Let me just quickly have a look at the website right now so I can give you a much more accurate and detailed information. So on DeFiLlama.com, Curve, which is CRV, the total value locked is $15.99 billion. Aave, which is currently ranked number 2nd, it has $14.86 billion locked. MakerDAO is currently at $13.72 billion locked. InstaDApp as $11.86 billion locked. And the fifth one, which is wrapped Bitcoin, is currently at $11.83 billion locked. Out of the top 10 DeFi performing protocols, 9 of them are working on Ethereum. The only one which is not on Ethereum is PancakeSwap. So definitely some really interesting information. The volume of DeFi has gradually been increasing while mainstream news has been covering about NFTs. And the reason why mainstream news is covering about NFTs is because celebrities are the one who are hyping NFTs. Social media personalities like Gary Vee, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather, they've all gotten into NFT. That's the reason why there is so much of hype about NFTs. While the NFT hype has been circulating since early 2021, DeFi has been growing at a steady pace. There was an interview about Charles Hoskinson earlier in September, and in that interview, he actually said that even DeFi is in a bubble. It's always what happens with NFTs and DeFis that is the latest trend. Now, he did mention that being in a bubble is not necessarily a bad thing. He has an interview on YouTube, you can find it, with Forecast News. Now, Forecast is spelled with a K and not a C. Now, the interview is roughly around 40 minutes long. In case you want to listen to his comments, you can go to the 18-minute mark, and that's where he actually goes ahead and says that he thinks that DeFi is in a bubble, and it always happens with NFT and DeFi and other bubbles. So Charles Hoskinson is definitely a great speaker. He's a fantastic speaker, but I'm a little bit upset about what's going on with Cardano. Again, I really love the project of Cardano, and the great thing about Charles Hoskinson is that he always gives an update. He always tends to go live on YouTube pretty much once or twice a week and gives people an update on what is going on Cardano. But looks like Charles Hoskinson is one of those people who tends to like to talk a lot. He does talk a lot about the project, but it just gets this feeling that he enjoys talking a lot. That being said, not much is happening with Cardano. Idly by Cardano should have been the mainstream news in the cryptocurrency world. That is not the case. In similar view, but different topic, Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, also had a fantastic interview on YouTube, and the YouTube channel is called as the Steakborg Talk. What's really interesting about this particular interview is that they were discussing the idea about a technology philosopher. So maybe in the near future you might be talking about a technology philosopher, and Vitalik Buterin would be one of them, Andreas Antonopoulos would be one of them, Satoshi Nakamoto might be the head of a technology philosopher. Now in that interview they talk about the Ethereum history, they talk about DAO, that is decentralized autonomous organization, they talk about DeFi, they talk about NFTs, and what I really liked about this particular interview was that they were talking about how culture impacts blockchain technology and vice versa. So it's definitely a must listen to. It's over an hour long, but loads of useful information, not necessarily from the technology point of view, but from a philosophy point of view and how technology could actually play a critical part. They also talk about how Bitcoin and Ethereum could possibly become strong cultural forces. So go to my LinkedIn profile. You can actually go and get the link for the YouTube channel, or you can go to YouTube and type in the Steakborg Talk, and you should definitely see Vitalik Buterin's video over there. The next news is about RippleNet. Now RippleNet is not a blockchain protocol, it is a cryptocurrency. So the news is that Ripple has announced a strategic ESG investment, and they have partnered with Nelnet Renewable Energy. Now the partnership is to reduce over 1.5 million tons of US carbon emission over the next 35 years. So they have a fund, and the fund has an amount of $44 million. It is called as the 44 million Clean Energy Fund. Now in case you want to find out the official release, it is not on the RippleNet website, but Nelnet has published an official release via the Twitter profile. So Nelnet has published an official release and RippleNet has tweeted about it. So it's definitely 100% legitimate news. Now, in the past, I did cover about RippleNet, and I covered about their partnership between the first bank in Egypt, and I think it was with Lulu Exchange in Dubai. And I'd also covered some news about a partnership between a bank in Oman and a bank in Pune, Maharashtra, India. Again, RippleNet is not a blockchain technology, but definitely a cryptocurrency project. And some even argue that in order for RippleNet to work, you do not need the cryptocurrency. Now, the managing director, Naveen Gupta, is in Dubai. I do very specifically remember that he was also the speaker at the 2018 Future Blockchain Summit. So most likely he might be the speaker for the Future Blockchain Summit, which takes place this month on the 17th and the 20th. So it'll be really interesting to see him to talk about ESG and all the latest partnership and development. Moving on to next news, that is about Celsius, which is a lending platform. Celsius Network raises $400 million, and they mentioned this via Twitter. The funding round was led by WestCap, and there is a French company that I don't know how to pronounce, but the abbreviation is CDPQ. I believe it's pronounced as Caisse de Port Placement du Québec. It most likely is a Canadian company, and it is spelled in French. What they plan to do is they plan to continue to expand its offering and products, focusing on institutional grade products, and they also plan to increase the employee count by more than double, and that most likely the employee count will be 1,000 employees. The CEO of Celsius Network, that is Alex Mashinsky, is also currently in Dubai, and there is an event which is taking place in Dubai called as the Gulf Blockchain Week. So he is one of the speakers at that event. Regarding Alex Mashinsky, he's definitely a great talker, and I'm not sure if he's actually the creator of VoIP, that is Voice over the Internet Protocol. So one reason why we can make calls on WhatsApp or Skype or Zoom is because of Alex Mashinsky. He's a fantastic person and a great talker. The only thing that I don't like about him is that in the interviews he often says that the rich and elite people tend to take a lot of the funds. But Alex Mashinsky is a rich and elite person, so he's talking negative things about rich and elite people, whereas he's one of them. So it's a bit ironic for him to talk about that. That being said, he's going to be there in Dubai for the Gulf Blockchain Week. Another CEO who's in Dubai is Changpeng Zhao, that is CZ, who's the CEO of Binance. Now, Binance has launched a $1 billion fund to promote Binance Smart Chain. That could be the reason why the price of Binance coin has gone up since the last 24 hours by over 7.71%. They have launched the fund of $1 billion to promote Binance Smart Chain as well as promote a variety of other sectors. So because of this particular news, the price of Binance coin might have gone higher. CZ is also going to be a speaker at the Future Blockchain Summit. Now, the Future Blockchain Summit will take place on the 17th till the 20th of October. The Future Blockchain Summit is one of the biggest blockchain events in Dubai, and I won't be surprised if it is the biggest blockchain event in the world. The first ever event took place in 2018, so this is the fourth event, and CZ is one of the speakers. The investment director of Binance, that is Gwendolyn Regina, investment director, has stated that half of the funds will go to blockchain services and the remaining most likely will go to niche areas of crypto world such as gaming and virtual reality. Now, if you go through her LinkedIn profile, you can see a beautiful article that she has written, and it also has the link for the Binance website, a blog that she is referring to. Now, Binance has been facing a lot of struggles this particular year. So 2021 legally does not seem to be a good year for Binance. Financially, they are extremely strong. They've been facing a lot of struggles in UK, in Canada, Thailand, and many other jurisdictions. What happened earlier in the year was that in US they had appointed a CEO for Binance only in US, but he also happened to resign. So it'll be really interesting to hear CZ talk at the Future Blockchain Summit. Now, moving on to news about celebrities and NFTs. Reese Witherspoon, one of the Hollywood actresses, did mention via Twitter that she's purchased her very first NFT, and in response to that, Snoop Dogg, who goes by the Twitter name as Cosimo Di Medici, this particular Twitter name by Cosimo Di Medici has over $17 million worth of NFTs, and most likely it is Snoop Dogg. Now, Snoop Dogg did respond to Reese Witherspoon's email, and he did suggest a particular user, and the user is called as Priyanka Desai, who is the head of operations at OpenLaw and the member of NFT collecting DAO, that is Decentralized Autonomous Organization, called as Flamingo DAO. So Snoop Dogg did refer Reese Witherspoon to follow Priyanka Desai to get a better understanding of how NFTs work. Now, celebrities getting into NFTs and crypto definitely puts a lot of eyes. I'm pretty much sure Reese Witherspoon has well over 26 million followers on Instagram. So many people will be aware about NFTs because of her tweet. But my question is, are the rich getting richer with NFTs? Ideally, it would be much better if a common person is benefited by NFTs. That would be much better. I have another news about NFT, that is Bored Ape Yacht Club creator Yuga Labs have signed veteran music manager Guy Osseri to expand the brand into other entertainment formats. So most likely we might be seeing NFTs into music industries and movies as well. The project has generated more than $900 million in secondary market trading volume across all collections. So absolutely massive news about NFTs. The next newscast that I'm going to talk about is about UAE, and this news was published by CoinMarketCap. So the news is that the COVID fund lost $1.2 billion by selling the SHIB coins too early. Now, I'm going to explain how is it linked to UAE. What happened back in May, Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, did receive over 50 trillion Shiba Inu coins. The Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin donated over $1 billion in cryptocurrency to an Indian COVID relief fund. What happened was that the creators of Shiba Inu, called as Ryoshi, put the funds without Vitalik Buterin's prior consent and approval, and they put over $50 trillion, which was approximately $1.2 billion to Vitalik Buterin. Vitalik Buterin wasn't a fan of Shiba Inu, so what he did, he transferred the funds to India, called as India COVID Relief Fund. Balaji Srinivas had also donated over 100,000 as part of India COVID Relief Fund. Now this is what happened back in May. The India's Crypto Relief Fund cashed out a donation of 50 trillion Shiba Inu for only $463 million. Ideally, it should be over $1.6 billion. Now, the price of Shiba Inu coin had fallen down, and that is one of the reasons why they were only able to cash out $463 million. In May, Vitalik Buterin donated 50 trillion Shiba Inu to help a crypto-focused fund tracking the coronavirus crisis in India. So the India's Crypto COVID Relief Fund did not manage to capitalize any of this upside, and that all the tokens were cashed out for $463 million. Now, why this thing happened was that rather than withdrawing all the $1.6 billion, they decided to split it into 7 chunks. I do agree with the idea of spreading the withdrawal to 7 different chunks. One reason why they did that, so that to ensure the sell-off did not destabilize the price of Shiba Inu. They lost over $1.2 billion by selling the Shiba coins too early. What is really interesting is that CoinMarketCap has given a statement by the non-profit organization from India, but it does not mention the name of the non-profit organization or the person. I am extremely skeptical of this. The statement given by the non-profit organization was that Well, I wouldn't say it's a part of life. The market goes up and down. It was something no one could have predicted. We are sure Crypto Relief will see more crypto philanthropists who would come forward and donate to the cause. For now, we have our hands full to be able to work on certain sectors and help the nation fight the pandemic. Again, why is the name of the non-profit not mentioned? The reason being, I am from India, and the level of corruption is absolutely insane. The moment I read this news and I spoke to my family and I told them, in India, if someone were to donate $1.2 billion to a non-profit organization, how much of it do you think the funds would actually go to the people? And believe it or not, my family members said less than 5%. And someone who's born and brought up in India, who's lived in India for well over 30 years, I'm not surprised. And someone who's lived for over 30 years, believe it or not, the level of corruption is absolutely insane, and less than 0.5% of the $1.2 billion would actually go to the people who are in need. Now, I did cover this particular news on 19th of May, and this is where I am extremely skeptical. The India COVID Relief Fund, that is the funds given by Vitalik Buterin and many others, did not go to India. Rather, it got converted from crypto to fiat in UAE. Once the funds were converted, it needed to be approved, and there were 12 banks in UAE which were involved, and they had to follow very strict regulations for foreign contribution, that is Regulation Amendment Act. And after that, the funds gets transferred to Indian bank and NGOs. It does not go directly to the end user. What is really interesting is that in spite of the funds not going directly to India, the funds came to UAE. After coming to UAE, there is a neo bank. This is where it gets interesting. The neo bank is called as Cash-R, which is cash with 2 A's. Cash-R is a UK-based entity. The CEO is an Indian guy. I'm pretty much sure that Cash-R would have taken a lot of charges as well. So rather than funds going directly from Vitalik Buterin to a specific person in India, the funds came to UAE. There were 12 banks involved. There is another new bank called Cash-R which got involved. So I'm really not sure what the state of crypto for COVID in India is. There was also confusion in India's crypto community and banking ecosystem. Why not send the funds directly to India? Because of this, there will be extra charges. They will have to create a UAE fund. There's cost for crypto to fiat conversion, the market cost, bank charges. I do agree that there is foreign contribution and Regulation Amendment Act. That seems perfectly fine. There's going to be KYC and regulatory charges. Those all seem perfectly fine. But it looks like it took well over 6 months. Not only that, the funds were less than half. So more than $1.2 billion has completely gone. The news that I covered on 19th of May did actually say that the funds will be sent to NGO and governments and not directly to people. Guys, are born and brought up in Mumbai, India. The NGOs in Mumbai, India and the government is absolutely corrupt. There's a lot of fraud, a lot of bribery. There will be further delays. And will the money be actually spent? Will there be an audit? I'm just hoping that there should be some kind of audit. Again, the reason why I'm upset with this news is that Bitcoin was created precisely for this reason. Bitcoin was created so that there is no middle person. Vitalik Buterin's funds should have gone directly to the person in need. There should not have been any middle person. So I'm really not sure what the status is. Now, over 50% of the value has already been lost. No names of non-profit mentioned. Were funds being used for COVID-19 relief in India? I'm really still skeptical. What would help is if they have a detailed audit. That should provide more clarity. The next news that I'd like to talk about is about the second blockchain Dubai summit. LB Exchange co-hosted the second Blockchain Dubai Summit in Dubai Expo 2020, and the location was in Indian Pavilion at Expo Dubai 2020. The event took place on the 10th and the 11th of October. Now, this was an invitation-only event, so I do not actually know what happened at that event. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to discuss what LB Exchange is. LB Exchange was founded in 2015, and they provide its users with safe crypto trading. They specialize in financial derivatives and professional asset management services. They are considered as most popular and trusted crypto trading platform with over 6.4 million users in more than 50 different countries. They are considered to be extremely safe, stable, and provide smooth user experience. Now, in case you want to find out more information about LB Exchange, you can go to the website, that is LBank.info. It's L for Larry, bank.info. And if you go to the website, and in case if you are an influencer who is listening to this podcast, they also have an ambassador program. They have 3 ambassador programs, that is a campus partner, community ambassador, and global ambassador. So definitely worth looking into and getting involved. Now, I did go into the Twitter and Telegram profile. Now, they do have a lot of giveaways. So the current giveaway is of an iPhone 13 Pro. So it definitely is legitimate. The event that they had was only an invitation-only event. The whole idea was to bring together hand-picked blockchain and DeFi business leaders, prominent international speakers, family offices, crypto funds, and private and public equity firms and high-net-worthy individuals from all over the world. Those were the news about UAE. So that's all for today, guys, from Crypto and Coffee at 8 from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. You can also check my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com. If you like listening to this, please follow this podcast, click on the follow and share the word across. Now for the next 30 minutes, we have an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So let's kick this thing off. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover file news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. This is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. I have a first question by Kavi, who has asked, who are the creators of Ethereum and what do you think of Dan Larimer? Now, I'll answer the question in 2 parts. The first one, Kali, is who are the creators of Ethereum? Well, Vitalik Buterin is the guy who wrote the white paper, but the co-founders or co-creators of Ethereum is Charles Hoskinson and Dr. Gavin Wood. Vitalik Buterin is known as the key person for Ethereum, and going back to 2016, there was a DAO attack where someone tried to manipulate the smart contract and tried to steal funds, because of which there was a hard fork, and that led to a disagreement between Charles Hoskinson and Vitalik Buterin. So Charles Hoskinson decided not to do the hard fork, which I kind of agree, because that stands with the ethos of what blockchain is. The immutability was questioned. Charles Hoskinson tried not to go with the hard fork and still chose to be with the Ethereum Classic, which I believe is the original version of Ethereum. So the co-founders are Vitalik Buterin, Charles Hoskinson, and Dr. Gavin Wood. Charles Hoskinson, as you know, is currently focusing on Cardano. That is his project. At the same time, he's also heavily involved in Ethereum Classic. So Charles Hoskinson is kind of managing both the projects. Dr. Gavin Wood was also the co-founder of Ethereum. Now he has moved on to Polkadot. Now Polkadot, what it plans to do is it kind of tries to solve interoperability across different blockchain protocols. What I would recommend you to do is, Carly, try to listen to Dr. Gavin Wood's interviews on YouTube. Some of the interviews goes back to even 2014, where he talks about some of the ideas about blockchain and what smart contract ideally could be. There are a couple of interviews which is around when Ethereum got launched. And at that point of time, I do very specifically remember that Dr. Gavin Wood was one of the key speakers, along with Joseph Lubin, who's currently managing the foundation of Ethereum, that is Consensus Network. So to answer your question, Carly, Vitalik Buterin, Charles Hoskinson, Dr. Gavin Wood were the creators of Ethereum. The second part of your question, what do you think of Dan Larimer? Now, personally, for me, Carly, I am not a fan of Dan Larimer. There are other people who are a fan of Dan Larimer. The problem what I have is that he's a great creator or inventor, but the project only succeeds after he leaves the project. So immediately after he leaves the project succeeds, and if kind of dies. So I'm not a fan of Dan Larimer at all. There was so much of hype about EOS. There were talks that EOS will be the future of blockchain and you might not even need Bitcoin. I remember attending a session in the Future Blockchain Summit in 2018, where the co-founder of Wikipedia wanted to have Wikipedia on EOS blockchain, and he said that this might be the biggest thing, even much bigger than Bitcoin. Unfortunately, none of those things happened. Now, Dan Larimer, he's involved in a lot of projects, but again, the projects does not seem to materialize. There was so much of hype with EOS. Later on, there was hype about Voice. So the idea of Voice initially was that they would replace Twitter, and Voice would be a protocol, the new social media. It completely got shut down, and Voice has moved into an NFT platform. If you follow Monero guys, in particular Fluffy Pony, who used to be the lead maintainer for Monero, he has openly said that EOS is Dan Larimer's fourth scam, and the project just does not materialize. Do a bit of research about Dan Larimer. There were also conversations back and forth between Satoshi Nakamoto and Dan Larimer. Satoshi Nakamoto at one point of time said that if you do not understand what Bitcoin works, I do not even have time explaining to you. So that is what the indication of Dan Larimer is. So personally, Carly, I'm not a fan of Dan Larimer. I have another question by Ralston, who has asked, what do you think the price of Bitcoin to go? Now, Ralston, I never give out any price prediction. I don't want to be one of those guys, who says that the price of Bitcoin would go to so and so amount. Any price prediction that you get, Ralston, is completely incorrect. If you do want to get a price prediction, what I would recommend you to do is, follow three people. The first one is Plan B. So you can go to Twitter, go to Plan B. He gives a price prediction. The second one is Willy Woo. Willy Woo is also quite active on Twitter. I believe he's from Australia. And the third one, who's getting a lot of attention nowadays, is Will Clement III. He's a 19-year-old boy who does a lot of on-chain analysis. So these are the three guys that I would like to recommend. That being said, all three of them have been completely wrong on more than 20 occasions. So Plan B, he has got a model called a stock-to-flow model, where he compares the price of Bitcoin to that of gold, and he gives his price prediction. He has been wrong on more than several occasions. Willy Woo gives price prediction. Again, he's been completely wrong on many occasions. He got battered by his own fans, and the price of Bitcoin fell down because of Elon Musk. He did not anticipate the power and impact of Elon Musk, so he got a lot of backlash for all of his predictions. The other person is Will Clement. He's been in the news quite a lot. He puts up articles via Twitter. He also has recently started a YouTube channel where he talks with Anthony Pompliano, and they discuss the price elements. So that was my information regarding price prediction. What I do recommend, Ralston, is try to understand the technology on Bitcoin. And What I would like to talk about the price of Bitcoin is it's pretty simple. You have demand and supply. The supply of Bitcoin is fixed. Because the supply of Bitcoin is fixed, the demand keeps on fluctuating. And crypto influencers, YouTubers, celebrities, pretty much anyone can pump the demand for Bitcoin. And the price of Bitcoin depends on the demand. So the more crypto influencers keep on pumping the price of Bitcoin, the higher it could go. Leading businesses and institutionals are also promoting the price of Bitcoin. And because Bitcoin is peer-to-peer, because there is no central person or intermediary, no one can go after Bitcoin. So anyone and pretty much everyone can pump the price of Bitcoin. So that was my answer to your question, Watson, in terms of how high the price of Bitcoin could go. So that's all for today, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover file news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. This is followed by 2 news and information related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. This is followed by Ask Me Anything series that you're listening to right now from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. So that's all for today, guys, from Blockchain DXB. And in case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. You can also check my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day. Bye-bye.